This is Andrew and Paul. Watch all of Halloween. Tonight we're watching the 1981 sequel to the 1979 movie that is Halloween 2, the first of its name.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen this before, this is a bring your own copy watch along party. Something so simple even Andrew can understand it, and so untechnical even I can manage to do it without technical issues sometimes. Yeah. So we'll tell you what movie we're going to be watching. You source your own copy, and when we're about to start, we'll do a countdown, and then you can hit play and watch along as we talk all over your film for you.
Yes. All the joy of the two opinionated gits at the cinema you never wanted to sit by.
Yes. Yes, we'll talk over any film for you. Right. Before that, Andrew, how have you been since we last watched the first Halloween movie?
Highly embarrassed. No, I've been good. I picked up Crystal Lake Memoirs, which I have actually got it here. This is a wonderful. It's the complete history of Friday the 13th. Fittingly for that, balls up with an intro. It's fantastic. It's hardcover. It's 320 pages. It's filled with like really in-depth information. They did a whole bunch of interviews, the people involved with the series, with the Friday the 13th. Loads of brilliant photos, a lot of them exclusive. The only problem with it is it's fucking huge.
It's a chunky book.
They decided to make a Friday the 13th book that Jason could kill you with. It's great, but sitting and reading it, it's not so much a coffee table book. It's more one of those, it is a coffee table.
Oh, yeah.
You could serve coffee on it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's been lugging that BMF around has been half of what I've been doing. Get them guns going. Yes! The one fan
Scarlet Tiger Chili.
Oh.
Chekhov's murder book, yes.
Yes.
Now that we've seen it at the start of this, if somebody's not dead by that book at the end of this show, you're going to be disappointed.
Oh. Oh, I don't want to read the fucking book.
So
yes, that's been me.
Last Tuesday, I had my COVID jab. That was my first COVID jab. And I was fine most of the day until Tuesday evening. And by about 8 o'clock last Tuesday, my teeth were chattering. I was sitting there with blankets over me, everything shivering away. And the next day, so Wednesday evening, I was sweating so much. On Tuesday night, I went to bed with a duvet and 4 doubled up blankets over me. On Wednesday night, I went to bed and I'm like, no, I have to sleep on top of the lot of it. But I'm perfectly well now.
And you don't have COVID, which...
Well, no, I don't. I still don't have COVID, yes. I mean, I've never had COVID, and I still don't, and I'm less likely to get it now. So that's all good.
Yes, my side effects were basically I stopped doing anything for 24 hours. So, but yeah, again...
Side effects are probably quite worth it, even though they can be a bit of a pain while you're going through the war.
Great.
So... what have you been watching over this last fortnight, Andrew?
Over the last fortnight, other than all the stuff on Trash or Treasure every Thursday over at bunkazilla.co.uk/the-bunker, which is also available at, if you go to the Stomping Grounds on Facebook. I watched The Mad Monster, which it's an amazing film, black and white. I think it was like the 40s. This mad, absolute lunatic professor, and I say this with no danger of being contradicted here. He's perfected werewolfism.
Okay.
He can turn someone into a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he's doing is he's using it to knock off anyone who said he couldn't do it out of revenge. So rather than like demonstrating this in public, he's taking out all the people individually, one by one. The thing is, the way he does it is he gets his lackey to stand in the room with them and then instructs his victims through a series of progressively more and more bizarre reasons to inject his lackey with the serum that will turn him into a lethal werewolf.
Okay.
At precisely a time he's elsewhere being seen. And it's just It would, if nothing else, it's more hilarious because whilst he's doing all these setups and coming up with all these reasons why they must do it, he has many, many chances of knocking them off himself. So there's no reason for him to kill them, and he comes up with the world's most convoluted way to kill them, and he could have just, it's madness. It's great, love it. Poor Quality Film Club every Monday. Bela Lugosi's Shed.
It does sound like quite an entertaining one.
It was good. Yourself?
Well, Scarlett Target has said, be thankful we're not female because their side effects are definitely not fun. Yes, I've heard about some of those. I hope they've not been too bad for you.
Are we talking about Mad Monster? Or
yeah, Mad Monster side effects. So, the COVID jab werewolf serum may be the same. No, I don't know.
Right.
So what have I been watching? I've actually still not been watching an awful lot, to be honest. Trash or Treasure,
puppy.
yes. Been watching that, yeah. Yes. We did watch Escape to Witch Mountain. Tenuous Link of the Night. So do you remember Lindsay, who was in Halloween last time we watched it?
Wasn't she like 5 or something?
Yes, she was the little girl who was being babysat.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes, she also plays a little girl in Escape to Witch Mountain. She's in that film for about 30 seconds. So I say Tenuous Link of the Night.
That's incredibly tenuous. I'm very impressed with
that. But yesterday I actually decided to watch an extra couple of films because some lovely person gave me a Christmas present.
Maybe.
Yeah. And it was the 3rd and 4th Killer Tomatoes movies.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Well, no, this one is Killer Tomatoes Strike Back and Killer Tomatoes Take France.
Yes.
And they are of a quality.
It was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, and then yes. And indisputably 4 films.
Yes. That they are of a quality. Whereas the first one, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, is definitely a 70s film with very 70s humor.
Yes.
Return is definitely an 80s film with very 80s humor.
Yes.
And these next two are definitely 90s films with very 90s outfits.
Yes.
But there is an absolutely brilliant intro to the third one. It is well worth a watch. If you happen to have watched what we were watching last time on this, you will probably find it quite entertaining.
They were indisputably the highlight of the vegetable-based invasion monster series, of which I actually can think of 3. So 2 of them being... No, I can think of 5. 4 of them being the tomato movies.
Okay,
so, yeah. Anyway,
yes.
Enough of that.
Enough of that. So let's talk about Halloween 2. How are you feeling about the film that we watched last time?
I am not going to lie. I still think it's one of the finest horror movies ever. I still have nothing bad to say about Halloween, and I am never going to regret having watched Halloween. I hope, because God, do I think this is going to be a stinker, because we did some research.
Oh yeah,
it's sitting at like 5 on IMDb. So it's we will get. I'm sure you'll have some wonderful statistics on things, but I am still very confident that Halloween was brilliant.
Yes, as a film on its own, even though it's older than I am, I think that still stands up really well. That's certainly one that's stood the test of time.
Younger than me.
Yes, it's somewhere in between our 2 ages.
I mean, it's not much younger than me.
No.
Still disappointing. Okay.
Right. So,
because you've got the buttons, I'm not going to do cheesy lineups.
Yes. So, I think the next thing we shall talk about is that I shall welcome you back to my exciting world of Halloween statistics. If your personal excitement at statistics lasts more than 2 hours, please see your doctor. So, I feel
personally attacked by that concept.
Last time we enjoyed the surprisingly unbloody Halloween, which only had 5 kills. At the time, we may have to have a small intermission. I'm very sorry. Let me just come back. Yes, there was a request. There was a request last time.
Oh.
Here we go. Let's see. Come on, get your face into the camera, boy.
Everything we do at this point is pointless. We just got dog bombed. So
yeah, so there we go. There's my little baby.
Oh,
yes.
If that doesn't bung up the viewership, then that's an inevitability. The one fan likes it, so
yep. Yeah, we did get a special request last time to have him appear on screen, so here he is, and he's just.
I am so going to tell everyone that they missed this.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to happen again.
And he's now trying to investigate everything that's on my desk. Oh, so this is about to go horribly wrong. Right, come here, boy.
You suddenly disappear. We'll know exactly what's happened.
Yes. Dog has pushed
anyway.
Button. Right.
Back to your what? No. Back to your world of statistics.
Back to my world of statistics. Good boy. Just stay there for a second. Right. So last time, as I was saying, we enjoyed the surprisingly unbloody Halloween, which only had 5 kills in it.
Ooh.
By the time of the 1981 sequel, Halloween 2 had come out. God, yes. Where's my button gone? There it is. There we are. There'd been a little bit of competition on the slasher movie scene, and that was with Friday the 13th, released in 1980, and Friday the 13th Part 2, also released in 1981. Stop it.
It's almost like they shoveled them out the door to cash in on the Halloween money.
Almost, yes. So the age of the slasher franchise had dawned, and both of these came in with the higher body counts of 10 and 9, respectively. So let's have a quick comparison of the kills in the two franchises. So this is Friday the 13th, which ran from 1980 to 2009. It clocked up 12 films with 206 kills, giving an average of 17 kills per film. It's okay. Across the Halloween series, we had 11 films from 1978 to 2018, with more on the way. Those had 175 kills that gave it an average of 16 kills per film. So
that is one spiky graph.
Yeah, it is. So Halloween was starting a bit behind on average kills. It caught up pretty quickly. So the third one in the series apparently is a bit of a kill fest. And both franchises have maintained a comparable average body count since then. Friday the 13th was more consistent with the kill count. But the Halloween films try and mix things up a lot. So as I say, a spiky graph. So some of those had very low kill counts and some very high kill counts. So today's film is looking to be pretty standard for the time, with about 10 kills. Most of the films around the 80s had that sort of kill count in them. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's about one every 9 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah,
we discussed last time. The producer of Halloween was very. You need a jump every 10 minutes because he nicked that off radio dramas.
Yeah.
So 9 to 10 kills a movie, 90 minutes a movie. You're looking at that beat being maintained.
Yep, indeed. So, because we were talking about it last time, you can purchase a bag of 50 autumnal leaves for £1 at a certain well-known affordable stationery shop.
A pound, you say?
A pound, yes.
A pound.
I've been unable to find out how many bags they used, but I did find out the crew had to pick them all up and reuse them between scenes, presumably because the local neighbourhood didn't want a load of leaves left all over the place. So you could possibly deliver the authentic Halloween experience in spring at quite a reasonable price. But if you are intending to buy some of these, just be wary of web searches that promise them for £1. But when you go to the website of a certain well-known but unnamed for legal reasons online marketplace, they turn out to be a little bit more expensive than you were expecting them to be.
Oh, dear.
So now while I take a phone call that appears to be from our legal team, Andrew, do you have some amazing facts with which to entertain our audience?
Amazing facts?
Amazing facts. Plus, I've got to put the dog down. So hold on a second. You start talking about this. I shall be back very shortly.
I think it's a bit savage to put the dog down. Today.
Down you go.
Yes.
Down you go.
It's no good without him here to be not to be scared by that. I set up a jump scare and you totally missed it.
Sorry.
Anyway, did the one fan like it? I don't know. Dog. Never work with children or animals. You should know that now, and I'm definitely a child. So, where are we in this long, bitter thing? After all the joy, so one of the most important things I have found out, and this is an amazing fact, Michael has a middle name, which I didn't know.
What is his middle name then?
Oh, you'll find out. But I got this by rocking around through the various fan groups that I follow of this. But yeah, let's dark, sinister, scary literal child killer. He was a child when he first developed Michael Myers, a name that brings terror to.
I have no choice but to remand Michael Audrey Myers to the Smiths Grove, Warren County Sanitarium.
Yes, Michael Audrey.
Okay.
The name that strikes terror.
Yes.
In your heart.
Yeah, so his initials are MAM then.
MAM.
Yeah.
So Audrey is anyway, after Audrey's little murder fest, Halloween made on a conservative estimate $184.5 to $1 return. Which, you know, is quite good.
Yeah, just a little.
General rule of thumb is if you make a 2 to 1 return, it's good. So Irwin Yablans and Mustafa Akhdi decided to make a sequel because money. And it took like 3 years for it to happen. This was partly due because they really wanted to work with Carpenter, but he was kind of busy reinventing horror with The Fog, then reinventing sci-fi with Escape from New York, and then inventing horror sci-fi with The Thing. So, you know, he was 3 flawless movies. He was a bit busy after his previous flawless movie. And it was also, no one didn't want to make it because the whole creative team really just weren't interested in it. Carpenter himself has gone on record saying, I had made that film once. I really didn't want to do it again.
Yeah.
Which is completely fair. So, he did not have a fun time making it. They wrote and produced. He and Deborah Hill got back because they were offered. Were they offered money? Lots of money. The creation process was described by Carpenter as involving a lot of beer sitting in front of a typewriter saying, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know. He also claimed that the main hook came up at 2:00 in the morning after a 6-pack, and he has almost never forgiven himself for it. An amazing move. He actually listed several of the scenes and lines from the novelization of the first Halloween that by Richard Kirsten. He lifted and put them into this movie. So that's kind of, I'm curious by that. But yeah, Yablans, when he got the first when he got the first draft after getting all the money and all the people together, he he called it pedestrian and predictable. Although Carpenter had a slightly different tact, he called it an abomination and a horrible movie. So yeah, you know, that really definitely. So anyway, candidates for being director, because Carpenter wasn't going to do it. They included the original art director Tommy Lee Wallace. Obviously, he was brilliant in that. He said no because he thought the script was just too violent. Deborah Hill was in the frame. She passed on it because she didn't want to appear as just a protege of Carpenter, which is fair. But you know, she's very talented. You know, David Lynch was considered for it, but didn't get because he was off the back foot off Elephant Man. This was about the time he was getting lined up to do Dune. You got to remember, Dune was supposed to be the thing to beat Star Wars. So David Lynch was a huge up and coming force before he did Dune and got totally fed up with the Hollywood machine and didn't get to do Return of the Jedi. So it's like, this is another one of those films that we didn't get to see because it would just be too awesome and mankind would stop and do nothing but watch his movies. So yeah, then eventually Rick Rosenthal got the job based off his student film. John Carpenter wanting to give someone fresh out of uni their own shot, like he'd been given with the previous movie, which I think is very, very generous. And because the guy had already done a couple of telephone episodes of Secrets of Midlands Heights, which is great. So yeah, we have Ross Rosenthal all ready to go, and yeah, he had a real fun time. There's disputes about how much control he actually did or didn't have. Rosenthal contends that it was Carpenter who chose to make the film much bloodier than the original, and claimed Carpenter ruined my carefully paced film. Carpenter said he directed some new shots and reshots in post-production, as I saw a rough cut of Halloween 2 and it wasn't scary. It was as scary as Quincy. He also discovered a massive plot hole that needed filling, so he had to do some post-production. So I don't know whether that was because he wrote it into the script or Rosenthal or what, but yeah. And apparently a number of the cast were taking direction off Deborah Hill, whilst Rosenthal was the producer, whilst Rosenthal was directing it. So that's
added some tension, I imagine.
That's a working process. Carpenter also had to do some extra shots. This is really funny. Carpenter also had to do some extra footage for a TV edit, because Halloween had done really well on the TV circuit, but obviously was only about 70 minutes long in the edit because they had to get rid of all the violence. And in this one, they were just like, right, we want you to edit it. So there's two versions of it. The producer edit and the cinema edit. Some absolute lunatics have gone together and because fandom does this, have glued them all together, and apparently it's kind of okay. But anyway, the cast mostly came back, excluding obviously all those who weren't dead from the last one. Main cast was pretty much the same, including the sheriff, which is quite cool, even though the guy, we found out he's actually taller than Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah. Although the scene makes it look like she's much taller than him.
Yeah, because she's like not. We thought she was like massively tall. She's not massively tall. She's like average height. She's tall for a woman, but not that tall. But everyone else was just like making her look even more tall. I have no idea what happened. Although Jamie Lee Curtis's hair was played by a wig, as she had started wearing it shorter because, time had passed, fashions had changed. The biggest change was Nick Castle, who was no longer playing Michael because he had gone to start a quite successful career as a director.
Okay, cool.
And that meant the role went to this gentleman, Dick Warlock. For people who don't know who Dick Warlock, that's his real name, by the way. His son's called Billy Warlock. I don't know why that amuses me so much. Anyway, by the time he lined up for Halloween, he got about 100 stunt credits to his name.
Including the Herbie movies.
Yes. In his full IMDb has got 213 stunt credits to his name. That's not his IMDb. That's his IMDb stunt credit. That's excluding all the acting stuff he does. He was originally hired as the stunt coordinator for the film, and then he got the role. And this is genius. He pinched the mask off a table in the production office, put it on, and stood in Rick Rosenthal's office doing nothing until offered the role. So
brilliant.
Just stood there being Michael Myers until he went, yeah, okay. Now you also got to, what you got to realize is, number one, he's 41. So you got a 41 at the time he did it. He was 41, supposed to be so he's significantly shorter than Nick Castle. He's actually the shortest Michael Myers in the whole series, to the degree that he had to have lifts on his feet, on his shoes in every shot so he looked tall, right? On top of that, his head is significantly smaller than Nick Castle's. Okay? Right. So you've got a silent, for wish of a better phrase, midget Michael Myers standing there in the mask that had been kept under Deborah Hill's bed for a couple of years. No one know this was basically there as reference material to make a new one, and he got the role because that's what Dick Warlock does. The guy is an absolute legend. There are so many tales of him being incredible out there. So yes, not a fun.
Quick question there. Is that Billy Warlock of Baywatch fame? Yes, I believe it is.
It is. It is of the Warlock family as a whole. Anyway,
it's called the Warlock dynasty from now on.
Yes, of course it is because it's Warlock. It's the only. I hope you've been keeping track on the comments because I am just looking at my spreadsheet. I'm just looking at the PowerPoint at this point. So anyway, sorry, while I'm an absolute nerd, it's the only film to show the morning after the third. Is the only one after Halloween. In fact, most of it happens after midnight, so it's not Halloween. It's November the 1st. I mean, there's a couple, but it's primarily the day after, and it's the only one in the entire series that's been primarily the day after. Although all of them were after. Oh, you know what I mean. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, it's not really on Halloween. Anyway, now. Back to safer territory. Would you like to know what the critics said of the movie that everyone who even looked at it hated?
Oh, I bet they're going to be positive. Let's hear what the positive things that they have to say.
Kevin Thomas of Los Angeles Times starts with things off with its reprehensible content simply piles up a greater number of corpses.
Okay.
Roger Ebert, who considered Halloween 1 to be one of the finest movies of all time, doesn't even attempt to do justice to the original.
Right.
That is an angry man just there. That is not something you say when you are enamored by a thing. Where are my buttons? Here's the next one. Roman Connie of the Calgary Herald. Several of the murder scenes are so painfully gruesome as to be tasteless and more than merely distressing. I just want you to savor that sentence. Then Tommy, this is in order of brilliance by the comments, by the way. Timmy Brayton, Agony and Ecstasy. It retroactively taints the original and makes it less interesting. That's impressive to have a sequel that goes back and reduces your enjoyment. And then my favorite one. AJ Ramonio from Vox. As films go, Halloween 2 isn't very good.
To the point.
I just like that one. I really I just really thought that was so I can say real you could completely. So yes, that's what we're looking for.
So given that we're just about to watch something which has been described as tasteless, and
I have no problem with that,
and also makes the film that we watched last time less enjoyable, how are you feeling?
I don't think that's possible. I'm sorry.
I'd be impressed if we actually went back and said, oh, this has actually diminished the original.
I can't see that happening, but I can imagine this is going to be a lot more. Because when I was doing the video for the edit that goes out on YouTube in a week, I was like, my God, we barely spoke during that movie.
Yes.
Because we were just too busy just going,
just
oh my
it, yes.
God. We were too busy just going, oh, you look at the layout of those leaves. Oh my God. This, I think there's going to be a lot of audio on this. I think it's going to be a shit show. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. So would you like the intro to this one?
It's yours to give.
Yep. So while Sheriff Brackett and Dr. Loomis hunt for Michael Myers, a traumatized Laurie is rushed to hospital, and the serial killer is not far behind her.
Ooh.
Does that sound like a good setup to you?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'll happily confess I've watched worse setups.
Okay, fair. Right.
First
so
cold drink at the ready.
Yep, I'm hoping the one fan has their copy lined up to watch along with us.
Yep.
So we're going to count you down from 3, and when I say go, we'll all hit play and watch our own individual copies of this movie. Everybody ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, and play.
Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah, it's a nice atmospheric ending.
Get some marshmallows. Get them in there. Well,
That's a jaunty ending song that I wasn't expecting.
I was not expecting that at all. So that was the film,
That was the film, yeah.
and
So,
that's quite a nice little tune. And you still there?
yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, thank God, I didn't hear it completely.
No.
So that was and the clock stopped at 56.27. Never mind. Don't know why it did that. We're still experimenting with this technology.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing tastes better than a marshmallow roasted over a serial killer.
it's a bit of an acquired taste, but you know, it's the one that you will get there with. So,
talking of serial killers, what did you think of your new travel-sized Michael?
I liked him.
Hmm?
It was very obviously a different Michael. And I think if I'd... Yeah, a bit of a shock. Compact and bijou.
Yes.
But...
Pocket size for your convenience.
The new compact Michael Myers. It was definitely short. He didn't loom, but...
No.
He had something. It's like I said, the bit where he's just walking around with a scalpel. I mean, that was just, I have a weapon. I don't need anything else. I'm not going to upscale. I don't have to do a different weapon of kill. I'm not here to be fancy. I'm here to get the job done. He got a little bit, it's going to sound silly, he got a little bit hacky slashy in a couple of scenes. I wouldn't say he was as consistent. You know, like some of them he was quite flaily. Some of them he was very precise shots.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was a Michael. It was very definitely a Michael. I don't think it was a bad Michael. I think also you got to give some context to the different directors, and give allowance for that. But I thought it was pretty good, Michael.
I was amused by the scene when he was just too short to grab her legs and he was like reaching up.
Yeah. I'd hate to see what it was like if he wasn't wearing lifts. But yeah, I think
there was one scene when the camera was tilted up at an angle like that to be able to make him loom a bit more.
Yeah, and like definitely the nurse scene where he picks the nurse up, that was absolutely, look, he's tall. No, he's not. I mean, unfortunately, they made the accident of putting him near doors.
Yeah.
And other people.
Things that you can use to scale, yes.
Yes. But were I to meet him in a dark alley, I'd still keck myself.
Yes.
Which I think is Michael's job.
Yeah.
It was possibly a bit too jaunty, but again, you know, a determination. He kept a steady pace. Yeah, so that's what I think of him in that.
Cool. And as a film,
oh God, that was bad.
Did it make you go back in time 2 weeks and review your enjoyment level of the film before?
No, it did not. It is not as bad as I had been led to believe. I don't think it was good.
No, I was expecting much, much worse.
Yeah, the retcons and the justifications were absolute balls. I can't think of another word describing it. It was a very split movie. That's the one thing I will say. And what I mean by that is, I know that in the previous movie, Loomis's job was running around after Michael and giving spots of exposition, right? That's fine. But in this one, that seemed to be like that with even more travel expenses.
Yeah.
And he was just zipping around all over the place. And he gave the same damn "it wasn't my fault" thing 3 times, if not more.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be constantly, I don't want to say drunk, but like the scene when he turned up and he said, "This is a wake." It was this quiet shouting. I'm Donald Pleasant, so I'm going to act the shit out of this scene because I've got almost a board, but I'm going to act the crap out of it. When he did finally turn up, the last 10 minutes were great. Absolutely loved it. When Michael came out of the fire, that was just what?
Yeah. he didn't know whether the film was actually going to end at that point or whether he was just going to keep going.
He'd been shot 5 times in the body. He
shot once in each eye.
Once in each eye, right? He'd been blown up. He'd been in an inferno, and he was still coming. And I was just, the look on her face was the look on my face of just, what happened? You know, what do you do to stop him?
Yeah.
And then his knees gave out, and that was just like, but that was a really, it didn't tense me up. I don't know. It was kind of like a defeated terror. Like, well, yeah, of course he's not dead. She's going to get butchered because Michael.
That's pretty much the point where, like, after all of that, if he keeps coming after you, just like, no.
You give up.
There's nothing left.
And that was brilliant. That was a properly, you know, the fact that he then when he fell over, you got that sudden relief. But the build up to it was bollocks. There was that nurse that came out of nowhere and was literally there just to get shot. Even though, I mean, there were some really talented scenes on display, but it was a mess.
I like the lighting. I liked the lack of music at various points through it. I think that worked really well. But yeah, overall, it just didn't. It was lacking.
Yes, and I don't. There's 2 ways you can look at it. You can look at it compared to Halloween, and obviously it's greatly inferior. But then you can look at it as its own movie, and it's still, not that great. It just didn't. Maybe I went into it negatively because of all the bad stuff in the facts. We didn't in the amazing facts.
But then I was expecting something truly awful from what we'd seen there. And it kind of overperformed compared to my expectations. So although I won't say that was a great film, I certainly didn't hate it anywhere near as much as I thought I was going to.
Oh, God. Yeah.
There were certain bits where you could go off and make a cup of tea and not really miss out.
It was incredibly uneven. It had a lot of boring moments. And it just felt like they didn't care. And I've got to go back to this. The two moments that I thought were incredibly weak, right? Amongst all of it. Well, not even weak, just inconsistent. The bath death. which was brutal. That was horrific. That was really, really nasty, especially with the skin, right? That seemed out of place. It's compared to every other kill in it. It was inconsistent with all the other kills. Okay,
Yeah.
even the really slow, torturous ones, we saw very briefly.
Yeah.
So the Michael MO is established as bang and done. He's efficient, not torturous. So that seemed really out of place. And then, as I said, no matter how funny it was, the blood trip, and there is no way that was intentionally funny.
It was hilarious.
I know it was hilarious. I remember
that was
laughing my arse off. But
a perfectly timed slapstick moment when you least expected it. You know, there is this terrible gory moment, and you just needed that little bit of music to go whoop 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 and down.
But no, I don't think it was supposed to be funny. Because
but
all the build up before it was serious.
Yeah.
All the build up after it was serious. The knock on effect of it when he came out with the concussion, that was incredibly serious. So there is no, despite it being one of the funniest pratfalls I have ever seen. Oh, it was perfectly timed. Absolutely. But there is no way that was meant to be funny. And it was hilarious. And it was totally out of place. And to me, those two things of the out of place gory death. I don't mind gore. I don't mind brutality. It was the fact it came out of nowhere, so we didn't have a build up. We didn't know that was part of the deal. Because horror very much is all about pitching the level, so your audience knows what to expect and setting boundaries, and then you can obviously break them and you can subvert them and all that. But to just have it suddenly go all the way up to 10, and then everything's at an 8, and then one shot is at 10, and then the rest is an 8. That's just why. It just seems as though no one cared. I mean, Loomis could have been ad-libbing. No, I've seen movies with 11s, and it just I mean, half of Loomis's lines felt recycled, so and that reveal, oh god.
Apparently, more is explained in the comic book.
Jazz hands.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, back to the film. What was your favourite kill in all of that then? I'm guessing not the bath.
Not the bath. I am gonna have to say, okay, for pure ridiculousness.
Yeah, I think there's going to be the same answer as me.
Okay, on the grounds of 1, absolute disregard for basic laws of reality.
Yeah.
2, complete plot immersion. It was an essential kill plot-wise. Okay. And 3, just spectacular overkill. It has to be the car crash.
Yeah. It's a completely out of nowhere, unexpected, and then you get that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was wow, oh my god, not wow, ha ha ha. I was laughing with oh my rather than oh that's stupid.
We were not expecting that at all.
The doctor, the double doctor kill, I thought was genius. We had a complete fake out. Okay, so number 1, we went in and the room was dark, right? And you had the shower. Okay.
Yeah.
We knew something was up, but that was a complete fake out. You had the nurse on tenterhooks, knowing something was up. She then moved into the main room, which was dark lit. So we knew he was hiding. We didn't know where. She then let down her guard, which makes us know that something's coming. You had no clue what it was. I mean, we knew the guy was dead, but we didn't know what was going on. So when she turned around and when that needle came into shot, that was just that was a completely static. That was horrific with showing nothing. That was just the idea was sparking you off.
Oh yeah, certainly.
And then we had the callback to the previous film. You had the hypodermic, and again, it was an efficiency. It was like, this is what I've got to hand. They could have done the eye again. They didn't. They went through the side. The actual effect was very minimal. You didn't see much. But, oh my God, it made you squick. And I don't know about you, but I actually was like feeling something a little bit there. I was just like,
I didn't see anything at all because I looked away, you know.
Yeah.
There was a needle, there was an eye, and it's like, nope.
Oh, no. It went in through the temple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That doesn't make you feel any better now I've said that, does it?
Not really.
No.
I had definitely said, this is my limit.
The kill I would tell if someone asked me what would the kills like, the kill I would go to first would be the car crash, just for pure spectacle. The best kill, the technically the most proficient had to be the double. That was I'd also be kind of surprised if Carpenter hadn't shot that. I don't know why. It showed care, which the rest of it didn't.
Cool. So this film is now 40 years old.
Yeah.
How does it hold up as a horror movie in its own right? Is it still jump worthy?
It's got a couple of jumps, but I have to say, as far as the slasher genre goes, no, it didn't really. If you replaced the killer with another psycho, it would be nothing special. It felt like a bad cover of Halloween. Wasn't progressing anything. It wasn't adding anything. It was just carrying it on. It showed. Yeah, I think it's aged quite badly.
Okay.
Definitely nothing like the
original.
Yeah, it doesn't hold a candle.
So with that in mind,
with the now functioning Hall of Halloweens.
You say that. I haven't started clicking anything yet.
Drum roll, please.
Yep. We'll see if it works. Can I? Yes, I can move stuff around this time. Excellent. Right. So last time we had the original Halloween film from 1978, which you put quite highly at neck level, but wanted to allow I'm just a little bit of space at the top in case.
I'm leaving a little space.
Yeah.
If we get that. I'm still happy with that, but
this film hasn't retroactively gone back and reduced the enjoyment of it. Okay,
no. Okay, no. I would like you to. I am going to nudge it up a little bit. Okay. Yep. I am putting it higher because this film, Halloween 2, has reminded me how good Halloween 1 is. Because all the way through, I'm thinking how they did it better, and the bits they nicked, like the empty the really empty hospital that felt like trying to create terror and trying to create space, but it didn't make any sense. There was no reason to it, and that stuck out, whereas the empty streets didn't. So yeah, I think it actually makes me think Halloween is a better movie when you put it all together. I still think, because we got like 40 years of cinema to go, that something could come in.
Potentially, yeah.
But based on this, I would be surprised. So, can you grab Halloween? Right, okay.
There we go. So, where do we want it?
Lower.
Lower.
No, up. I'm going to put it at tip of the knife.
Tip of the knife.
Tip of the knife. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I can easily see how the other films can do a lot better, even if it's they've got to land between. There is, in my mind, there is no way if they got anyone who gives them monkeys, they have to do better.
You have left yourselves quite some room there for something worse, though.
There is room for garbage.
Yeah.
But I would be. We may end up stacking some stuff at the same height.
Fair enough.
There was a reason, they aren't massive like they were last time, so we can actually stack them. But
Plenty of room
I don't
for
know
the
if I could be
future.
asked to watch this again. That's why I'm putting it so low.
Fair enough. I think that's a reasonable comment. Right then.
So yeah.
So next time on Tuesday, the 1st of June, we have the 1982 sequel, Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Do you have the spiel? Yeah, I am actually. Because I know that it's I know some of the production side of it because parts of this movie were a setup for it. And it came out a year later, and it was when they decided to try and make the Halloween series into an anthology series. So I'm interested because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it.
I hadn't realised that one.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm actually quite excited about this.
So this got an interesting intro on IMDb. It says, kids all over America want silver shamrock masks for Halloween. Dr. Daniel Chalice seeks to uncover a plot by silver shamrock owner Connell Cochran. That pretty much tells me nothing about
this I am very excited about because it's the one that the Halloween fans kind of look down on because it's not got Michael in it.
Okay, yeah.
But Carpenter's was quite heavily involved in it, and I want to see because, like they were talking about with the Friday the 13th, the idea of making a franchise element out of it and making it an event series, an anthology series. Because I still like the idea of holding on to the hope that someone might one day make a really good anthology movie series rather than American Horror Story, who've made a really good anthology TV series. So yeah, I'm thinking it can't be as shit as this. I don't think it's going to be as good as Halloween, but I don't think it can be as shit.
Well, we will find out in a fortnight's time, won't we? So that's Tuesday the 1st of June?
Yeah, very excited, very.
Cool.
It will be. Right. I'm going to hide that because it helps me with the edit.